Hello guys, you know that I'm always honest with you, so I cannot say that everything in Russia is in decline. There is one thing that keeps growing rapidly, confidently, and that is the Russian budget deficit. They lack 4.9 trillion rubles in the first 7 months of 2025. And this sum already exceeds the Kremlin expectation for the whole year. Putin was informed about that, I guess 100 times, because both the head of the central bank, the minister of finance of the Russian Federation, keep repeating the information about recession, stagnation, danger of inflation, literally on every Kremlin meeting and even on the so-called international meeting in St. Petersburg. But Putin chooses not to hear. And his most recent answer was to inspire Russian businesses to new technological advancements and efficiency, and maybe more tax for the Russian population. I'm sure you can guess no efficiency and no technological advancement is expected in Russia, but perhaps more fires and explosions on their oil refineries. -1 again today. And all that in the context of Russia's total reliance on its resources, oil and gas. So let's discuss what is happening with their budget and how Ukrainian drone sanctions and maybe more Western sanctions can help us finish Putin's regime. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel and share these videos to spread the truth and demonstrate your solidarity with all freedom-loving people and Ukraine. So according to the most recent reports from the Kremlin, their budget deficit is rapidly growing faster than they expected. In the first 7 months of 2025, they managed to reach the expectation for the 12 months of this year. And right now they lack 4.9 trillion rubles. These are billions of dollars. Putin knows about that because people like the head of the central bank Nibulina, Russian Minister of Finance, the head of Sberbank, and many more are shouting about it. I guess since the start of 2025, because I believe they have a lot of problems and we see just the peak of the iceberg, and we already know about the restrictions to take the cash from ATMs and your bank accounts. We know they are preparing to freeze the prices just as it was in the worst Soviet years. We know that they have 4 3-day working weeks, not because they want people to have more time to rest, but because they don't have money to pay people who are not working in the army. So this is a serious problem because in Russia, you don't speak openly about problems. You know it can end up with some tea that you don't want to drink. So the only thing that those Kremlin officials speak openly about it in front of Putin is the growth and the size of that problem. And he demonstrates his total craziness. He is not connected to this reality. He is lost somewhere between his bunkers because he says that he is reluctant to cut the rising expenditures, but he sees the solution in the technological advancement and more efficiency. We all know that's impossible. We all know how they achieve efficiency, sacrificing like hundreds of thousands of the Russian soldiers for the sake of 1% of Ukrainian territory in 1,000 days of this war. Subscribe to witness the collapse of the Kremlin. I'm sure we will discuss that on the channel. Please like and comment because the world still measures this war and the future of Eastern Europe through the Moscow paradigm, through the Moscow-centric approach, and we need to change that. Moreover, with such community, we are able to change that. And of course, it's impossible to bring more income into the Russian budget. even if they introduce new taxes, which will lead to more bankruptcies among the small businesses. Russia already witnessed that. And they report that more businesses close in 2025 than open. So new taxes will not bring billions of dollars. And Russia is a resource country. They do not produce anything competitive. They are not about IT. Millions of Russians actually escaped the Federation at the beginning of this war. Not because they are so much against the war, but because they don't want to be conscripted, and now they live in your countries. But this was a serious brain drain. So, with Russian oil refineries keep exploding, -1 again today. I hope you're not bored with that, but this is the strategy we have to implement to paralyze their war machine by destroying the things that help them earn money, and fuel is also needed on the front lines. And if you want to observe more of active, bright strategy, remember to support Ukrainian armed forces. And here I'm happy to introduce our 6th NAFO campaign with 3 beautiful patches, but most importantly, 3 beautiful Ukrainian units that save lots of innocent lives. Please consider supporting it. That's the best way to invest in peace and security, and not just in Ukraine, because come on, literally they started attacking west of Ukraine more and more often, and every time they attack my region, for example, they fly to Poland, 2 drones, 3 drones, 1 drone, and they go deep and deep. And no, that's not an accident. And I know that Polish military don't shoot down these drones because I don't know why. That is not an escalation. To shoot down a foreign drone on a NATO territory, that's a protection, because what are they doing on your territory? But they say, we know they return back to Ukraine, so we don't shoot. That's a test, and you keep failing that test. And no, it's not about Ukraine territories, unfortunately for all the world, but it's not about the Ukraine territories. So the good thing is that with our drone strategy, I hope with our flamingo strategy, they will have more and more problems with the most important targets that help fuel Russian war machine. And the gasoline crisis will continue because that's the only way to protect Ukrainian cities and Ukrainian lives of innocent people. Today they targeted the cabinet of ministers of Ukraine. The building stands, but it was burning. What is worse, 4 people were killed in Kyiv. And that is a beautiful, very beautiful and strong city that every morning returns back to life. You know, I love calling it the beautiful monster, and there is a lot about that. And I'm always happy to learn that other people who come from abroad fall in love with Kyiv. And there is a film that tells this story and has a very beautiful name, Kyiv of Mine. It's filmed by a very sensitive, if it's possible to say so, crew who noticed this beauty of Kyiv, fell in love with the city after coming from different corners of the world. What is also interesting, and here I connect a link to the trailer, but you can later watch the series, that it is filmed during 8 years, not just during the full-scale war, so you can see how the city and people, because you see the city through the eyes of the people, how all of them develop, how all of them meet the challenges that keep coming here. But somehow we all know Kyiv will stand long after Moscow falls. Thumbs up for that. Also, there are rumors that after these attacks and after many more attacks, after lots of disrespect from Putin, Xi and Kim Jong-un, Trump is prepared to impose new sanctions on the Kremlin together with the European Union to crush the Russian budget. As a Ukrainian, I can tell you, I don't think so. I don't believe it. I will be very happy to be mistaken. But at this very moment, I don't think this will happen. The most radical, the most aggressive thing that Donald Trump can make to Vladimir Putin is to give him 2 more weeks. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? And is there any way to speed up the process of the collapse of the Russian economy? Because personally, I think the only working plan is to keep targeting the oil refineries, gasoline crisis that may happen deeper and in more Russian regions. And now Putin speaks about the need to spend more money on the defense of Russia. And that's so ironic because he used this phrase to whitewash his full-scale invasion, saying that he needs to protect Russia from the potential attacks on its territory when it was totally safe back in 2022. And here now even Russian population will say that I'm not exaggerating. And now they witness more and more failures, and they do need to defend more and more of their regions, including Moscow and St. Petersburg. And in this video, I've actually collected top Russian failures that I advise you to watch and share with those who still doubt or who still measure this world via Moscow-centric frame. That's important to see the reality as it is and to make decisions based on this objective reality. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. It's an honor to have you and the reason why I actually launched the second, Anna Danilchuk. Thank you so much for following me on other social media. I'm on Instagram, X, Threads, Blue Sky, and Discord. The link's in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop, which turns lots of beautiful people into Ukrainian ambassadors and helps you remind about our fight and the need to defeat Russia with beautiful t-shirts, hoodies, and caps. And the new fall season is coming, at least in my hemisphere. Thank you so much for all the kind words and advice, for all the shares, likes, and comments. This helps a lot. That's the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity, but very effective. And thank you for being friends of mine and Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!